All right, hello and welcome to the LP Dimension. I'm your guide, LP. Today is the 23rd of August, 2025, and this is, hold on. This is mixed worm bin number 2. I'll have it on the screen when I was in here last. I know it's been a while. And maybe you're seeing this before I post, or maybe this is the future and you're watching this. But I just finally got my upgraded blue worm bin set up and transferred the blue worms over, and I'm super freaking excited. And that reminds me, there's a guy on Instagram, older guy, comedian, and he's always posting videos that he's often saying things like, yeah, all right, we'll have a super freaking awesome day. I love it. I want to say it's like Ronald or something, but I don't think it's Ronald. I'll look it up before. Okay, so been a while. We got all these lovely seedlings that are just gonna become some nice food. Let's see. Now these guys have been harvested for some time, and so much time is passing so much faster than I would like. That this must be where I fed. It's like, should I harvest them again? Harvest castings again before winter? Before fall, rather? Let's not jump right to winter. I think I've done a real disservice to my populations that were booming by how much I've neglected them this summer. Okay. Yeah, this stuff is... What in the heck is down there? Oh. A jicama. It was a moldy jicama. The tag. There are actually baby worms on that. It's finally breaking down. Barely, though. Yeah. I don't know, I really might wanna... You can tell it's been a while since I've been in here because this stuff is super compact. I thought it was gonna be mucky down here because the way it felt when I reached down, but it's a little bit mucky, but it's not really bad at all, actually. No bad smells. It smells like soil. This is that cardboard thing from the bird cage. Bunch of worms around it. I'll go ahead and tear this up a little bit. Separate some of the layers. Create more surface area. Yeah, these guys are hungry. Just paper. There's whole pieces of paper here. All right. Well, I think what I'll do. What is that? Plant matter. A lot of material here. It's quite deep. Well, let's hurry this along. And stems and twigs and stuff. Yeah, it's on the wetter side down there, but it's not problematic by any means. Yeah, I'd really like to see a lot more worms, but we're only in half the bin so far, so I'm kind of trying to group this material. Let me see, what do I want to do? Well, for now, I need to get to the other side. So we'll just put all this stuff back over here. I really want more of the papers. And I'm gonna at least be thinking towards harvest. Because I don't know if you recall or even saw, but when I did harvest the castings, I mean, there was a lot, it was such a wonky harvest, like all of them have been this year, that there was quite a bit of castings left behind. And here's a bunch of worms. So that was a big feeding zone. Bunch more worms. Yeah, so there were a lot of old casting, like I didn't do as clean of a harvest as I would have liked, as I would prefer. This stuff is, this shredded paper is pretty clumped together, but you see that it's not bothering the worms. Yeah, this is where I fed, because there's the melon skin, there's a bunch of mites. Yep, tons of mites. Well, that's not tons. Okay. So they're looking pretty good. And these castings are looking pretty good as well, if I'm honest. I don't know why I say if I'm honest. This is not the time for that phrase. Okay. All right. Let's finish our fluffing. So their population still looks pretty good. I mean, there's lots of worms in here. They're not busting at the seams because this is a lot of material. And they've also don't have a great reason to be breeding because they've been neglected. We're about to take care of that. Yeah, there's worms everywhere I look. So that's, of course, encouraging. But yeah, this material is really more done than not. So, quite a few worms in this area. Yep, lots of worms. They're not big, but there's lots of them. And what I'll do, because these guys have been neglected, I want to, I am going to add a little bit of new material. I say just a little bit because, like I said, I'm thinking about harvest, and I'm like, this stuff looks really nice, and we've got a lot over here. I'll plan to harvest the left side first. So I'll feed. These are those tea bags that I assumed were biodegradable, but now I do believe they're plastic, as a viewer suggested to me, and I felt like, no, they're not. But the more I look at them, the more I'm like, they are not breaking down. Okay. Alrighty. So, what we're going to do is, this is shredded paper and stuff. I'm going to take... we got that whole sheet, some of the shredded, some more of the shredded, and let's get our food items. Okay, when did I accidentally stop recording? All right, did we see we've got pieces of sweet potato, whole tomatoes from the garden. Most of this is from the garden. Radishes that were forgotten about and got moldy. The cabbage is not mine. Savoy cabbage leaves, a tortilla, and I was telling you, in some old herbs, that like, why didn't you just cut that out and eat that? Why didn't you just cut that off and eat that? Because, so in my anxiety, at least a couple years ago, I researched, when tomatoes are cracked like this. And I remember reading, when they're concentric cracks, as in circular, that's okay. When they're vertical like this, you have to be more careful. This is black from Tula. These are black from Tula, and this is an early girl tomato. So I've gotten a little less anxious though, and I've cut off this part and eaten the tomato so far this year. Well, the last time I did it, I wound up finding, like, on the other side, I wound up finding a couple of weird little pockets that looked like moldy and funky, like, so completely opposite of where the cracks were. And I decided then that I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I really hate to waste, tomatoes. So I'm kind of like, when I see them like this, where they're black like that, even though this is small, I really wanted to eat this one. And we could look at it now and see if there are any weird spots. But I saw, like, I was in the middle of cutting that tomato, and I think I did eat a piece and preparing it for a tomato wrap when, yeah, this one probably would have been fine. But it was one like, it was more like this, like this one, you might be like, yeah, that's a little too much, right? I mean, it's been sitting, so it's gotten worse. But it was one that I didn't think was a big deal. And now when I saw that, and I had already, like, I had tomatoes chopped up I had other tomatoes chopped up, and I was chopping that one up, and, like, they were all on the plate, and I just so happened to see these couple of funky spots, and I was like, oh man, I sat there in my OCD-ish anxious nature trying to remember how much of it I'd already eaten and was I going to get sick. I'm fine. But I have now decided that I'm not going to mess with the ones with those big of cracks. So, or even like the red one, the early girl tomato. You know, yeah, looking at it now, maybe that's what I should have done with that tomato, is I should have cut it up first and looked at it and said, is it good? Oh, it is? Okay. But you know, it's still, I got to kind of put some time in between me and the one that I thought was fine to eat and then wasn't fine to eat. It wasn't obvious at all either. Like, I very well could have missed it, you know. But anywho, oh shoot, I was going to give them dry mix. I'm not now. And I was actually going to give them more. Okay, that's right. That's what, see, that's how I could have eaten. So I'm fine. I'm not like, not going to eat any cracked tomatoes, but when they're kind of, when those cracks, those vertical cracks are black like that, I just, it doesn't, like I said, I need to put some time between me and that experience. All right. I just want to get a little bit more carbon. There, I mean, there's still a lot of the stuff that was already in the bin, but I think I know they'd benefit. I forgot who it was. Was it? Shoot. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name. I'll put it on the screen. Was she the one saying that you can't have too much carbon? But I've seen other worm farmers saying that, yeah, it's not. It's kind of no such thing as too much carbon. I'm putting these plastic pieces in bin 1 right next to, so that for any worms that are on them, they can move off of it. All right. Cool. So we are, because there are baby worms on those, we are done with bin 2 for now. And we are anticipating harvesting the left half in the next month, hopefully. That's what I say all the time, right? But there's a lot more less broken down material over here. And it'll probably actually wind up being a couple of months. Well, no. Well, a month. In a month, hopefully, harvest the left half. But as I say that, I'm thinking about the fact that in a month it'll be the 23rd of September. And we will officially be in fall. So if I'm going to be harvesting, I would really prefer to have those castings for, I would really prefer to use up those castings before what am I trying to say? Before I go into winter. So I might rush this harvest. Because the castings that I currently have in buckets probably will go and that's not a very big feeding for these guys, so I really need to make a point to get in here in a week and a half. Yeah, sorry, super distracted. Yeah, so I'll probably rush this harvest, so that at least if I've got it harvested by October, then we'll be good, because then I can use these castings when I plant garlic, which I'll be doing in October. All right. Be sure to check out my count of the Canadian Nightcrawlers a few weeks ago, and my creation of the new blue worm bin. Pretty excited. Pretty exciting. Yeah. Awesome. Be safe. Be well. Bye for now.